Hello, Footballer Nation, and welcome to the greatest rising podcast in football. We're so back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carson, and I am a Cardsaholic.
My name is Alex, and I am a Billsaholic.
And I'm Ian, and I'm a Bearsaholic, and I'm accompanied by... fellow Bearsaholic. There we go. He's camera host.
He was not prepared. like the Bears' offensive line. But actually, the Bears' offensive line was kind of over-prepared because they kept false starting. Doesn't matter, though. To find out more about this episode, I'm going to hand it off to Carson to do the little...
Let's go ahead and roll that intro. Hello, Footballer Nation, and welcome to Footballers Anonymous Season 2. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. Week 1 of the NFL season is over, and we've got a lot to talk about. Everyone enjoyed their victory Monday?
I did. What about you two?
I, too, enjoyed celebrating Sunday's victories on Monday.
Same. Interesting.
Well, if they're not going to talk very much, I feel like a good way to open up today's episode is by seeing what Footballer Nation wants us to talk about. With our aptly noted segment by our Bearsaholic, Ian Watkins. We asked you to ask us questions, and we answered them. Our
That's
question.
Right. We did it.
We.
Every week. We do it.
We.
Our question this... Our question this week.
We. Fine wines and us and cheeses. We.
Our question this week is from Peyton Richardson. He asks, how did Aaron Rodgers do? And will he do well in week 2?
He played very well, actually.
What was the question?
How did Aaron Rodgers play, and will he play well in week 2?
Surprising. Yeah, I think the best way to describe it is surprising. Surprising.
That offense looked really good. I also like that DK Metcalf was protecting Ramsey, even though they're just new teammates. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did see that.
That
was cool. Yeah, the Steelers looked really good.
They did. I thought Aaron Rodgers was pretty effective, especially like in the second half when they were I think their first half was a little slow, but their second half was definitely a lot better in terms of their offensive production. The Jets put up a lot offensively as well. Fields and Rodgers played well, but Rodgers, he was definitely playing with a chip on his shoulder after being flown out to MetLife across country just to be told that they don't want to use him anymore, and rightfully so, playing with the chip on your shoulder after that. That was kind of a dirty, not great move by Aaron Glenn and the Jets and company. So, will he play good in week 2? I think he will. I don't think the Seahawks are the best team. They're playing the Seahawks at home. I think they beat the Seahawks, and I think Rodgers plays well against the Seahawks. Seahawks have a solid defense, and Mike McDonald's a good defensive schemer and play caller and whatnot, but I shouldn't say play caller. I think Leslie Frazier's is he there? Hang on, let me not.
I'm not really sure how I feel about the Seahawks this year. Just the receivers are so thin.
Yeah, they scare me a little bit.
Just kind of washed this point.
I'm not at all convinced with Seattle's receiver room. I'm not convinced about most things Seattle. I don't think their O-line has looked super good. Sam Darnold didn't look amazing. I think Aaron Rodgers can do some damage and slice and dice against his team. But
funny is I don't even think Aaron Rodgers has to do that much for them to win this game, because I don't think the Seahawks offense can be putting up a lot of points.
No,
unless
I think this game is going to entirely rest on the Seahawks defense. This is a defense that I praised. I praised the offense last week too. Clearly I was incorrect, but I do still have faith in their defense. I think it's weaker than the Jets defense, just based off. Well, no, I think it's stronger than that Jets defense, just based off what we saw Sunday. But I don't think Rodgers will have to do as much as he did in this game to succeed against them.
Yeah, I agree. The Seahawks offense is going to happily rely on Jackson Smith and Jigba and Sam Darnold's connection, and I think the Steelers will outscore them regardless. I think that Rodgers did play well, and Rodgers and Fields had a very good quarterback duel, but
I think the best way to just answer this question, straightforward to say, like I said, Rodgers played very surprising but well this week, and next week, I will expect a regression, but not in terms of bad. I'm not saying he's gonna play bad next week, but he's just not gonna play as good as he did this week because he won't have to play good.
I think that's very valid. I think he's going against a good opponent for him. I think he'll do pretty well. Probably not like he did against the Jets, because that was very personal, but he could do pretty well. Any other comments?
I have one actually. Our comment of the week this week is an old one, and it's kind of something I'm kind of just like throwing out there. We had comments this week, but none of them were really super good comment of the week material. Our comment of the week this week, we didn't have good material necessarily for the comment of the week because the comments we got they didn't fit the bill really. So we kind of went into the archives a little bit, and we missed a comment off of a very old stream that we had, our 100 subscriber stream, that happened about 6 or 7 months ago.
6-7. 6-7.
Fun fact, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo said this on the broadcast. They said 6-7 on the broadcast.
They did. It was wonderful.
Anyway, continuing. On that 100 subscribers stream, about 4 months ago, so a few months after we record it, there was just one guy. He went back, watched the video, and said, he went through, watched the 100 subscribers stream, and said, dumb video. Key Campbell 17. Sorry, we didn't realize you thought this way about our 100 subscriber stream. We'll do better next time when we hit 200 subs. Stay tuned.
You know, Alex, I'm not gonna lie. That's low-key kind of a banger hate comment. It almost reminds me of last year and our first ever comment of the week. Shout out Dylan.
It's where I got my name from Mr. Electric that we use like once in a balloon. But it's
Wonder if he's still watching paint dry.
That's a great question. I mean, watching paint dry, it takes a long while for paint to dry, and it is more entertaining than listening to us, according to him. He could be doing that because that is a very high bar. Maybe he just likes watching paint dry. You never know. Could be a big hobby of his. You know who else kind of likes watching paint dry, though?
Who?
The Bears offense.
Doesn't even make sense. Like,
What?
straight up.
You know why?
Why?
Because if Caleb Williams wasn't watching paint dry, he would have hit that ball to DJ Moore.
Hey, you want to talk about the Bears? You want to talk about the Bears offense? I actually heard they won this week. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Really?
The Baylor Bears beat number 17 SMU 48-45 in double overtime. That's right, guys. I'm gonna hit you with just a little bit of the 2025 Footballer Nation voted favorite segment of the whole show, Carson's College Knowledge. Just gonna run you through a couple of the games, a couple things that happened, and then we'll get into some games of the week later in our Footballer Select. But like I said, the Baylor Bears upset number 17 SMU 48-45 in double overtime, so at least one of the Bears won this week. South Florida marched into number 13 Florida's arena at the Swamp, and they won 18-16, which actually brought them into ranked play, which is crazy work. Possible foreshadowing of a game of the week. Number 18 Oklahoma beat number 15 Michigan 24-13. Shout out to Ian for calling this one. After watching them play the Redbirds, obviously the most goated team in all of the NCAA. Kansas ranked number 4 in FCS. You heard it here first. Kansas lost to Missouri 42-31, and I think that's it.
Wait, no. We're missing one.
I think that's it.
One of our games of the week. If one of the Bears won this week, we have to talk about the one of the one of the Carson's team. Now, we're doing that opposite order here. The losing team goes first. We're talking about Virginia Tech. They got smoked by Vanderbilt. 44-20 with Carson in the house.
Listen.
How do you feel, Carson?
This game, I want to know what was said in that locker room because we went, at halftime, I had never felt better about the Virginia Tech offense. We were up 20-10 at halftime. I felt great. You know what happened in that second half?
You farted.
The
34 unanswered points.
34 unanswered points. That is more points than yards the Virginia Tech offense was able to put up in the second half. That was, in fact, the Virginia Tech offense in the second half scored 2 first downs. Now, I don't even know why I said scored. They achieved 2 first downs, one of which was a rush by the backup quarterback, Pop Watson III, to end the game, and the other one was a pass interference call. I would like to apologize for picking Virginia Tech as game of the week. This will never happen again. We're probably going 3-9, honestly. We're gonna lose to ODU this week, and it's gonna be embarrassing, and yeah.
No, Carson, pick Virginia Tech as a game of the week every week. So that each week we're guaranteed to go 1-0.
This guy knows ball. We should pick the Bears as game of the weeks too.
Bro, okay, see, like, you're like you were recording, buddy.
Yeah, anyways, thank you for joining us for Carson's College Knowledge. I apologize for picking a Virginia Tech game. It will not happen again.
Onto some NFL news. Starting off with the Raiders side of things. They looked pretty good in their week 1 win, but they were doing it without a receiver in the lineup because Amari Cooper randomly retired. He said he had no desire to play football anymore, and honestly, with how the state of the Raiders locker room was before Pete Carroll got there, maybe that's part of why.
I mean, but he just got there like a month ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that's not a factor.
I mean, hey, shout out the Football Donald's prediction of him wanting to retire as a Raider.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did.
I mean,
just earlier than expected. Yeah.
We did call it.
Yeah. You know what else we called?
What else we called?
Actually, we didn't. We did not call this. Kyler Murray having explosive diarrhea during the game.
Yeah. So I'll take a minute to briefly talk about Kyler Murray.
Practice real quick. Imagine if we predicted that like before the game. No, I think Kyler Murray He's gonna have some bathroom issues.
Oh, look at the way Kyler Murray came running out of the tunnel there. You could see the bowels moving inside of his stomach. You know, Jim, I think it's gonna be a really early sign of explosive diarrhea late in the third quarter.
I don't know, Jim. I don't have diarrhea like that.
Now, here's a guy who really just needs to use the bathroom.
I haven't seen a poop performance like this since Lamar Jackson.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Darren Rizzi.
No, that's what I told Alex when I mentioned it. I said, bro literally pulled Darren Rizzi in New Orleans. He woke up the morning before the game and immediately knew something was wrong. So Kyler Murray was basically running on Pepto-Bismol for the whole game, but he won. So, maybe you need to be on Pepto more.
Hey, if you just play,
I'm stealing Kyler's Pepto supply this week.
Speaking of
Speaking
of being on stuff, Aaron Rodgers, we talked a little bit about him this week, but we didn't talk about his counterpart. Who even is the quarterback of the Jets?
Good question. Is it like Jay Cutler?
Get a load of these guys.
I know he was like a former Bears quarterback.
It's not the GOAT.
Another one of those quarterbacks that can't throw for 4,000 yards, but I don't remember which one. Ian, do you know who the quarterback of the Jets is? Nick, do you know the quarterback of the Jets?
I have no clue who you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. Either way.
Sorry.
Aaron Rodgers and Mystery Man had a double revenge game.
And they both went off.
Rodgers was playing for the Jets last year, and Mystery Man was on the Steelers and got benched in Week 6 last year.
Yeah, I mean, they both played some amazing games. Mystery Man really put together a game, and even the last drive that didn't end up working out was, first off, not on him. It was on Garrett Wilson, who I guess is a bum now. That was just horrible. You hate to see it, but I mean, put up an entertaining game. So I hope this Mystery Man that Ian, I guess, doesn't care about. I hope he puts up some more good games.
I agree.
I think this division needs another team that is worth watching.
The AFC East, I assume.
Yes, they need a team that is worth watching.
Whether it's the Jets or the Patriots, they were.
Not that the Bills aren't entertaining, but it's more fun when there's at least two good, decent teams in a conference.
It's literally like when the Patriots dominated the division, and none of the other three teams could do anything. Now it's just the Bills doing it.
If we want to talk about an interesting division, though, the NFC West has had some drama, specifically in San Francisco. The injuries are already starting to pile up, as George Kittle was just placed on IR, which shakes things up quite a lot. I know Brock Purdy is also questionable with an injury. I think he should be fine. But the biggest and honestly most exciting thing for 49ers fans is that you guys finally waived Jake Moody, which makes me kind of sad. I'm gonna miss him.
Don't worry, Carson, because you know who they ended up signing? Eddie Pinheiro.
Yeah, 'cause that's much better than Jake
What
Moody.
an improvement. Oh my God. What a generational upgrade.
Remember that one Panthers-Falcons game a couple of years ago where the Panthers were going to tie the game, but then the Panthers player that caught the touchdown took off his helmet, and then it caused Eddie Pinheiro to miss the extra point because his bums.
PJ Walker. It was PJ Walker scrambling out left, throwing a dime to DJ Moore in the end zone. He took off his helmet, and then he got it called back, and then Eddie Pinheiro missed the kick.
His buns.
I think we're just cooking.
I don't know why teams still think signing Eddie Pinheiro is a good idea, but honestly, maybe it's because the 49ers wanted Matt Prater and we snatched him up.
You snatched him. You didn't even snatch him up. He's been in the free agent pool for almost a year, and no one has signed him for some reason, even though...
Snatched him up. We snatched him from the 49ers.
I don't know how to tell you this, Alex, but Tyler Bass does not have a job anymore.
Actually, that is actually an interesting debate. The only thing that Tyler Bass has going from comparatively is that I think Tyler Bass can boot it further.
No.
No?
Matt Prater's literally the most accurate long-range kicker in NFL history.
Accurate. I mean, true, but yeah.
He held the record before Justin Tucker.
Oh, did he?
Ooh,
oh, okay.
Matt Prater.
All right, never mind.
He had 65.
I mean, the only thing is, I know Matt Prater's 41 now, so I guess
that's what I was going to say. The only thing Bass has going for him is the age.
But I was and that's kind of where I was coming from with I don't know if Matt Prater can kick this far now.
It's pretty clearly not a long-term thing because, his family is still in Arizona. Right. They're not all moving out there.
And even, after the game, he was talking about how, I don't know how long I'll be here, but, for a while I'm here, this is a great locker room, Oh, the Steelers, they signed Jabril Peppers, the guy that was, on that one infamous coin toss. It's boom! After they won the toss.
Boom! Yes. Honestly, I was gonna just go through and talk about each of the games I don't feel like we need to, though. Most of these games will be covered in our Pinnacle segment.
True.
So,
But, man, before we get to that, we have an ad read.
ladies and gentlemen, Clankers and Cardinals fans, welcome to season 2
hands on the pod, dude.
Footballers Anonymous. Week 1 is here, and the vibes are higher than JJ McCarthy's second half QBR. Again, not written by AI. JJ's comeback was too emotional for the machines. Footballers Anonymous-shop.fourthwall.com. That's the link. Type it in with your human hands. Buy with your human heart. Wear with your human shame after going 6-7 in fantasy again this year.
For the record, I will not be going 6-7 again. I got Joshua Patrick Allen. That man is a glorious 6'5", 237-pound Greek god from Wyoming with a cannon and a crooked smile who would absolutely stomp the absolute living crap out of anyone that tries to contest him or stand in his way. And he is cannot say the GOAT. He's the king. Feels like a dream. Oh, just got me flustered. Can't even say no. Don't care about the stats. I'm just obsessed. Oh, put me on the table like it's 4th and goal. Oh, no AI could have written that, even though the structuring is wrong. Only a human with a crush in a keyboard could.
That was disturbing. But let's get to the point. We've got fresh merch, and if you don't buy it, you're probably Pete Prisco in disguise. And honestly, that's worse than going 6-7. Facts.
Speaking of disasters, Roger's out here doing Darkness Reaches by Mystery Man. It's about to silence the haters.
You mean the same haters who said he'd go 6-7 this year? Shameful. Just shameful.
Can we all just talk about that JJ McCarthy debut? I cried. Real human tears. Minnesota! The AI would have called that game statistically average, but we know better. We felt the moment with our hearts and our shirts, which are for sale. Footballers Anonymous-shop.fourthwall.com. This website is 0% AI, 100% Bears cursed optimism.
Bear fans, real quick, I want to talk about this. What are your opinions on QB1?
We don't say his name.
You can say Rodgers. You can even say Kyle Pitts, but we don't say that name. Not after what happened in Week 12.
He went 6-7 in our hearts, Alec.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Even sadder than Kyle Pitts' fantasy.
Speaking of Pitts, drafting him should legally require a disclaimer. That's not a tight end. That's a ghost. He's the football version of a wet sock. AI would have tried to analyze his upside. This is raw, emotional truth.
Just like raw, emotional power of Mystery Man.
And we can't forget to praise the GOAT of all GOATs, Mitchell David Trubisky.
That man went 6-7 one season and still left a legacy.
He's our North Star, our guiding light, our 6'2" prince.
Before you go 6-7 in your pick'ems of your league, go to footballersanonymous-shop.fourthwall.com and grab something that says, I know ball, or at least I listen to guys who scream about it weekly.
This ad was not written by AI. Although if it was, it would have probably been smarter than Pete Prisco.
Those who know.
No quick talk disclaimer at the end of this one?
No, this one, it was supposed to spread the disclaimer throughout. It was supposed to change it up. That's why it was after like every sentence.
I love disclaimers, just like I love fine wines and ours. Don't you agree, Ian?
Ladies
you know
and
what else I
gentlemen.
love? Daddies.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the pinnacle of the Footballers Anonymous show. This is exactly what the show was built on, ladies and gentlemen. These are our Footballers Anonymous Power Rankings. For those of you who don't know, every week we here at Footballers Anonymous make our own individual lists ranking the team, all 32 teams in the NFL from worst to best. And then we use this thing called math. For those who don't know math, it's numbers. We use math to put those lists together to create a collective power rankings list here at Footballers Anonymous. Now, because sometimes math, we sometimes have ties in the number value. And when we have those, we will either bring them to the pod if they're worthy of it, or if they're not worthy, we talk about them off screen and we vote on them, the three of us. We do have Nick here today, who is currently sitting in for Ian. And before we get to our top 12 that everyone's waiting for, we gotta talk about some baddies. Coming in at 30th in the power rankings, our first baddie of the 2025 NFL season is the New York Giants.
Oh yeah, I love giant baddies.
Yo, what?
So wait, what is the baddies category? This is my first time doing this.
No.
Okay.
Well, and this is a good time to explain for those who weren't around with us last season, because this is the first episode of the year. The baddies, there's 3 baddies. The first 2 baddies we mentioned are 30 and 31 on our power ranking. 32 is the ultra baddie. They're basically the biggest baddie of the week. It's basically just the worst teams, the baddies. On our collective power rankings, so the 3 teams that have the worst math.
Exact math.
Or the baddest.
So the New York Giants. They I don't
Malik name was
off that team.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors once gone.
You know, and there was actually a second where I was considering not putting them in the baddies. The game got out of reach eventually, but they kept it surprisingly close for a while because their defense plays very well, actually. The Giants' defense is very good. The problem is Russell Wilson played like Daniel Jones, and spoiler alert, not a top 12 spoiler alert, but Daniel Jones kind of played like prime Russell Wilson, actually more like a Peyton Manning. Ridiculous game with the Colts. Maybe it's a Giants issue. We'll figure that one out. But
Just like 13 other teams.
Giants offense, not good. That's a lot.
Neither was
their
their defense.
We didn't
No.
What?
Ian said neither was their defense.
Giants defense?
Yeah, neither. They did not.
They played okay. They played well for the first half.
Yes, they did. They did.
Oh,
But
and as we
I should
know,
have clarified. That's what I meant. Yeah,
as we very clearly know from week 1, only the first half matters.
dude.
And that's why the Bears are 1-0.
They played a very good Commanders offense and looked good in the first half, which is why at some point I was considered during the game. I was like, okay, they might not be baddies this week, and then they fell apart. With that being said, they are our number 30 ranked first baddie this week.
With our second baddie, a team that is even worse than the New York Giants. We've been hating on this team for a long time. It's another new team. We have the New Orleans Saints, who were our preseason ultra baddies. So congratulations to the New Orleans Saints. They moved up a spot.
They didn't get blown out.
They did not get blown out.
Yeah.
Listen, if there's one thing Spencer Rattler can do, it's almost lead a game-winning drive. He has unironically done that a lot. Almost leading game-winning drives. It's pretty close. But this team is just not a team. Chris Olave can get it done sometimes, but
Right, Carson, this team is just not a team.
they're not. They are not a
In
team.
terms of teams, this team is not a team. And if you really boil it down to teams, you don't talk about this thing.
They don't have players on their roster.
It's
They
just
don't.
their defense is so old, and they don't have a quarterback. And Kamara is also getting pretty old.
Yeah,
They're in
he
such
got pretty
trouble
soft.
to be a bad team. It's crazy.
But
It's just like after Drees, there's just nothing left for New Orleans.
yeah, they
They're
haven't
in
had
purgatory
much.
for at least 5 years.
Sorry, Saint.
Well, unless they get like a franchise quarterback, and even then it'll still be kind of some time before.
What do you mean?
Really
They got
contend.
Tyler Shuck.
Moving on. Oh God,
Ladies
I
and
am
gentlemen,
not a Tyler believer.
there was one team this week who was so bad that I actually want to check because I'm curious now. I want to see how far this team fell. We didn't expect very much of this team. We really did. But the disappointment that we got, okay, they actually barely missed the baddies by 2 last time.
I feel like I ranked them pretty low.
They were ranked lower than I thought. But still, no one could have possibly expected this team to stink it up as poorly as they did. Ladies and gentlemen, our ultra baddie this week, the team led by Tua, turned the ball over. The Miami Dolphins, your first official ultra baddies of the 2025 season.
I love this so much. This is so funny. Dolphins fans, first of all,
Be careful what you say. We unironically have a lot of Dolphins fan listeners.
no,
do,
no,
no.
I don't
We
speak
actually do.
for all.
Yeah, we did.
When we get footballers anonymous fan comments, like particularly when we talk about the Chiefs fans a lot, usually it's not directed at all of them. Fan comments in general are never directed at all fans. With that being said,
This one is.
Dolphins fans were so confident they were going to take the division from us, and then they fell off the face of the earth.
Wait, are you serious? Was that actually a thing that was happening?
This was the
A
thing
couple
that
of
was
years ago,
happening.
yeah.
Oh, a
Like
couple
when,
years. Okay. I
Yeah,
thought you meant
so-
like this off.
no,
about
no, not this year. This has been like a slow burning thing, but like they thought they were like set for years, which was kind of crazy because Mike McDaniel is not that guy. Tua gets injured too often. The offensive line might be the worst in the league. It's down there with Houston and all of them. Chicago,
Yeah.
no, Chicago's not that bad.
Right.
Like the Dolphins' offensive line this year is gonna be Bears' offensive line last year level, and with Tua, that's terrible because Tua needs an offensive line to stay healthy. Honestly, that's like,
Tua needs a
And
new
then-
brain to stay healthy.
yeah, no kidding. Another thing I kind of.
From life to stay healthy.
Another thing that really concerns me is there was a press conference. The press conference Tua had after the massive blowout, by the way, 33-8, they got blown out by Daniel Jones and the Colts. And Tua had 3 turnovers in the game.
I feel like
Tua
Sorry.
after the game in his press conference, instead of taking accountability, he said that he was going to watch the team and make sure they were watching their film. He did end up adding him as well, but you had 3 turnovers in that game and played terribly. And your first thing you come out on the podium and say is,
Yeah, guys.
Game
film.
Absolutely absurd. The best part was when Mike McDaniel came on and literally said that at least it can't get any worse. Mike McDaniel literally proclaimed that the Dolphins were the ultra baddies. They literally said they were at rock bottom. Like, we could not.
what do you guys think about a possibility of a Tyreek Hill trade because of all the drama and like how many times he said like I want out? And I'm not sure if it was an interview. Actually, it was an interview. He said this was a big kick in the balls for us. That's how he described the loss.
See, here's the thing that concerns me. I know Tyreek Hill in the past has been incredible. In the past year, though, and especially the contract he's on, I don't know who'll take him. He hasn't had a 30-plus yard reception since week 1 last year. Went through the whole season last year with a 30-plus yard reception.
And there's also a whole lot of
Off-field drama. Yeah, that's another part you have to worry about.
Maybe the Raiders are a perfect team for him.
Or the Browns.
The Browns, yeah.
I mean,
where all the Georgia players go.
Hey, hear me out. Bring him to New England. Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs, elite duo. Throw Mac Hollins in there occasionally.
Mac Hollins is like a saint compared to those two.
True, but he's still a bum.
I don't.
He can give them how-to videos. How to throw your child off.
How to be a decent human being.
Matt Collins is as skilled at football as he is wearing shoes.
Matt Collins is as skilled at football as
Alex has pretty thumbs.
I do have pretty thumbs. They're unique.
No. Anyways, before we get into that, we're gonna go ahead and jump into some good teams. Now we're gonna get into our Footballers Anonymous top 12. We've got some interesting ones for you. Coming up here first at number 12, just barely staying in here, we have coming off of a very close loss, the Atlanta Falcons. This game was pure cinema.
It was a really good game.
I think Younghoe
honestly, I think this game did a very good job of promoting two ideas I have, in which one of them being the Falcons are going to be a solid team, and second one being Baker Mayfield MVP campaign.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Even though I'm on the Baker Mayfield MVP campaign train, it didn't necessarily promote that too. Yes, actually, the Emeka Egbuka connection was great, and they had a good amount of touchdowns, but Baker did struggle in the first half.
I'm telling you, offensive rookie of the year is Egbuka.
MVP.
I see that now. Like that's good. Like their connection was like elite in week 1.
It was incredible to watch. And we'll talk about that a little more when we get to the Bucs, because of course they're also up here. But the Falcons, I mean, they show a lot of promise, and they've got a big game coming up on Sunday Night Football this week. More on that later. So that they will definitely be a team to look out for, especially on the later end of the season. They play Bucs again. Coming in at number 11, this is Alex's high horse to ride. It is Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. I'm not gonna lie, this was not a good game for Denver.
Defensively, okay. It was not, which is why I dropped them a little bit. But with that being said, part of it, week 1's a little weird. Second part of it, the offense was the main issue, of course. The defense looked phenomenal as usual. Their defense incredible. I know a lot of the Broncos' issue is kind of their offense, which is obviously not because their defense, I think, is the best in the league. But I think their offense will kind of see through some of the woes that they're having. And I think the Titans' defense is also an underrated unit. It's not like bottom 10, not like bottom 5 to 10 like some people think it is, just because of, I don't know, actually tell you we're a bad team. Like it's not like a top 10 defense. Like it's a solid defense. Like a lot of it is I foresee them fixing their issues. And then on the defense side of the ball, their defense is so good that they'll win games regardless, even if they somehow can't. Another thing, they extended Nick Bonito, which also helps. It's another
that does help. I'm just saying, Bo Nix didn't look super amazing here. Thankfully he was playing against a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward, which helps a lot. Like
who had no receivers.
Correct. Which helps a lot. But I mean, this could be a little scary, especially since the rest of the division is looking pretty good this year. Even the Raiders might give them a run for their money. We don't really know. Coming in at number 10, we have the Los Angeles Rams, who struggled a little bit to score points.
Struggled to score points, but not struggled to move the ball. They moved the ball effectively finishing it. Texans defense is also another one that I think like top 3.
I mean, I've been preaching Matt Stafford's gonna have a great year, assuming he's not dead, which I mean we all know that he's cloned.
Sure. I mean, he played pretty fine this week. Didn't do the bag.
He became the 10th.
Earlobes are different.
No, it can't be. Actually, I'm actually very okay with that. I'm good. He did become the 10th quarterback in NFL history to reach 60K passing yards, allegedly.
Correct. Technically, if he is dead, then this would not be his 60,000 yards. This would actually technically only be like 1,000 yards.
Correct.
So technically, but that's only on the technicality that he is in fact dead and cloned. But either way, Matthew Stafford 2.0 in the press conference after the fact, when asked about how it felt, he really just praised everyone that he's worked with, everyone that he's had the ability to play football with. He said none of it would have been possible without all the guys on offense and the coaches he's worked with. So that was a very nice moment to see.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Moving into number 9, we have another team coming off a pretty tough divisional loss. We have the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, you said their name now. We can move on.
All I'm gonna say, I have never been so happy to be wrong about a pick. Probably the best mistake I've ever made. But we can get into a team that I actually do want to talk about here with number 8. And I'm actually open the floor to Nick and Ian on this one, because at number 8 we have my GOAT, JJ McCarthy himself, and the Minnesota Vikings.
I don't know if Nick is aware of how much Carson glazes. Like, it's like almost as bad as Ian for Mystery Man and me for Josh Allen. It's like it's
not
getting
that
there.
bad.
It's getting close, which is insane.
It's not as bad as you and the Broncos last year, though. It might get there, but it's not yet.
That's just because he hasn't. Like,
Dude, what do you mean it's not there yet? It is so high up there, Carson.
Yeah, you were glazing him before he even played a snap.
I'm seeing you in comment sections on Instagram glazing him.
What?
Like,
Guys,
you go to the comment section and someone says JJ McCarthy is like hasn't been playing. Like, there was a game about the Bears game. It was like he was talking about how JJ McCarthy hadn't played good in like the first half, and he was like, Carson's all like in the comment section like, just wait until JJ McCarthy shows you what he's got in the second. I'm like, bro.
Okay.
Carson,
guys.
No, I'm not even kidding. There's only a video from shot in like this first half of the game of a Bears fan saying that JJ McCarthy is horrible, and Carson's in the comments going, JJ McCarthy isn't horrible. Look, this take aged horribly. Haha, LOL. Like 24/7.
Oh, I did actually do that.
Yes, you did.
I did. I believe I said something. I believe I said this take aged end up being. Hey, you know what? The take aged horribly. JJ McCarthy went crazy, and he was my favorite in the draft class. Okay, and he went to the best situation of all the quarterbacks. He got to ride the bench for a year with a quarterback whisperer himself. Everything was put in place, and he had a very slow start, and he didn't look very good. I wasn't concerned because I honestly thought it would take more than a game. But it turns out that in the fourth quarter, JJ McCarthy became the first player in NFL history to account for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter of a debut game.
That's a lie. It was actually second. Fran Tarkenton was the first in 1961, also against the Bears, unless that was a different stat line. Okay. Or maybe, no, that was having 2+ touchdowns in the debut.
Yeah.
No, that's the same thing. Yeah, it was Fran Tarkenton in 61 against the Bears.
No, that's a
Tarkenton might have been 2 touchdowns, and then McCarthy.
It was 2+. It was having 2+ in a debut.
This is 3 in a fourth quarter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Fran Tarkenton was the same thing.
No.
They said it on the broadcast.
I will look this up for you.
What'd you think of those 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter by JJ McCarthy?
I loved them, especially because I had him in fantasy.
Do any of the Bears fans want to comment?
No.
And I don't mean comment of the week, not to be confusing.
No.
We just had a lot. We just played so sloppy at some. Like, we were moving the ball, but we just couldn't score or missed a field goal. A lot of penalties, some that were questionable, but
yeah, he is the first. He is the first.
Questionable penalties.
Sorry, I just had to defend my GOAT. He is the first.
Okay, that's disrespectful. That is disrespectful.
I've been calling him
You
that
can't
for a long
disrespect
time.
Mitchell David Trubisky like that.
I mean,
No.
I'm not saying he's the GOAT. I'm just saying he's my GOAT. I've called like 5 different people.
When I would say Bo Nix is my GOAT or Josh Allen is my GOAT, y'all be like, that's disrespectful. But now it doesn't apply because it's JJ.
Yeah, I don't know why you're calling me out on that now.
Rule.
Because I've said it like 5 times today alone. I called him Matt Brady.
We're actively recording right now because we're actively recording, so it becomes an issue.
I've said it multiple times on the recording.
This isn't credible or honorable.
It's not credible. You should have called me out on it sooner. It's that important. Just saying.
Bro is late. Just move on.
Wow. Now Alex is a hater too. That's crazy work. All right. Well, at number 7, we have Mr. If himself, but not this week because he actually did it. We have the Los Angeles Chargers.
He did do it. That's what happens when you have Madison Beer on the sideline.
Alex gets it. That's what happens when you have the power of beer on your side.
No, actually, like that. I've seen my quarterback have that kind of a thing with a similar situation. Haley Steinfeld.
You know who did not have that power?
And then he has an MVP season. Maybe it's Justin Herbert's here to have an MVP season.
Travis Kelce lost that hour this week, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, we're not gonna say you guys aren't saying anything about the Chargers other than Madison Beer. Yeah, it was an amazing game. Quentin Johnston somehow managed to catch a touchdown, which was shocking, by the way.
Wasn't it multiple?
Yeah, it was multiple. Yes, I've had one on my bench in fantasy, so that was awesome. Lad McConkey looked amazing as expected. Amarian Hampton actually had a pretty slow game. He really didn't do much, kind of concerning, but it is week 1, so you can't diss on him too much yet. It was just overall a great game from the Chargers on both sides of the ball, and it personally makes me very happy to see. As you all know, I'm huge on the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I could only catch about half of this game, so it's kind of iffy in terms of what happened in the second half. But I know that the finish was very good. I think it was a little bit closer on the box score than it really was. Like they had to end up closing out the game, but I think the Chargers could have ran away with it more than they it to, which
There were some iffy moments for both teams. There were some pretty iffy moments, but overall, it was a very complete Chargers game.
It could have also just been Brazil. That field, at least their practice fields I saw were not very suitable. I don't know if the field was like better, but I mean, it's got to be better than last year. But
oh, for sure. Moving into our top half of the top 12, we have at number 6. We talked about them a lot earlier, so there's not a whole ton else to say, but it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 6.
Yeah,
I think this is the perfect spot.
I agree. The Baker to Emeka Egbuka connection was absolutely incredible. Their defense was very solid in this game. They held the Falcons to only 20 points, and I thought the Falcons offense was playing very well. There were times where the Bucs defense could have played better. I think they let Bijan go for a run that really shouldn't have happened.
Dude had 20 fantasy points in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, like they started out really
that was my first round pick.
I thought I was so cooked when I saw that.
I mean, they started out really bad, but the Bucs tightened up after a little bit, and it definitely shows. Offense was a little. Honestly, the Bucs in general were kind of slow in this first half, but they kind of kept it close, and some were winning in the first half too. But like second half was definitely better for them, and I honestly think that they probably would have won even if that game went to overtime. But it's hard to say. The coin flip matters a lot and everything, but they were playing well. Good spot.
True. Coming in at number 5, we have the Washington Commanders. This is a pretty good all-around game. Jaden Daniels did get hurt. It should not affect their week 2 matchup, but it is a short week, so that could be not super great.
Yeah,
so
hopefully that doesn't affect it because that'd be bad. Like they have an important match of the week, so they kind of need them.
Coming in with our number 4, this is where things start to get a little bit close. With number 4, we have the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not gonna lie, I guess I'll start. This team looked a little undisciplined.
Yeah,
a catastrophic kickoff.
They were kind of just spitting. Like flags kind of came in quite a bit, and not having Jalen Carter on the field for the whole game definitely didn't help. Versus the Cowboys offense that was kind of doing well against them, and the Cowboys actually could have won this game if CD had hands.
Shout out
but
to
the Eagles
gave me 20 fantasy points. I totally started nervous.
Yeah, the Eagles won. They played well for the most part. Some question marks here and there, but like it wasn't like it was less of them playing bad and more that the Cowboys playing good. I feel like for the most part. Also the weather delay that kind of made it weird too. That honestly might have been part of why they struggled to put points on the board in the second half.
Oh, for sure. It was rough. The Eagles, that whole first touchdown drive for the Cowboys was basically carried by Eagles penalties that shouldn't have. And that's just something that has to get fixed.
For sure, and I do trust that it will, because the Eagles were pretty relatively disciplined last year. I think it's just that we won. We'll see though.
Up next, at number 3 and number 2, we have our first tie of the season between the Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Ravens. This is a very interesting one.
Ravens number 2. If you think the Ravens are number 2, you're kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like bias aside, you put up 40 points and you think they're not better than the Packers. You're crazy.
Here's the thing: offense isn't the only aspect of the football game.
Sure, their defense played better, but like the Bills are a better team than the Lions.
Okay, but
the Ravens defense was super good up until that final stretch. Straight up, if you think Packers are better than the Ravens, you're crazy.
Here's what I want to throw out there for my take on why I'm going to Packers. 1, I think the Lions are still I still think the Lions are a very good team. 2, the Ravens I had lower than the Packers originally, so why would I move them above them when it's like similar levels of performance? 3, the Ravens still lost. They choked it away, and frankly, the last 10 minutes of the game was extremely sloppy for them. And honestly, their secondary really concerned me for a secondary that was supposed to be quite good. Their secondary wasn't good last year. They supposedly heavily improved on it, but it was bad. Granted, it was against Josh Allen, but now, more importantly, on the Packers side of things, defense was insane versus a Lions team that last year their offense was very good. I know Jared Goff has his games, but they were still able to produce when he had his games last year, and the Packers shut it down with Mike Parsons.
Micah freaking Parsons.
The other thing,
good lord,
I'm not gonna lie, Jordan Love played very good. I think Jordan Love, if he can consistently play at the level, like if he can consistently play good like how he played in the game, he could be their guy. He played very well in that game. Like, you know?
I mean,
no, don't know what we're talking about here.
Jordan Love played well against the Lions. They were moving the ball offensively very effectively, and Jordan Love,
he had a solid completion percentage. I don't believe any picks. Good yardage, 2 touchdowns.
He played pretty. I mean, of course there were probably mistakes, but like no big mistakes, which is unheard of for Jordan Love. And if he can neutralize that for like the whole whole season, that's going to be huge. He didn't have to pass a lot in terms of yardage because the Lions kind of kept giving the Packers short field, but he played well with what he was given. And 72% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns. Like,
Yeah,
Jordan Love played very well. What do you think, Carson?
I'm pretty high on the Ravens D. I like their draft class. I think for now, yeah, I'm gonna take Green Bay. Look, I've been a pretty big Lions doubter, but I was not expecting this. I expected the Packers win, but wow, this was dominant. This was just a very complete football team. Wide receivers actually looked good. Jordan Love didn't throw picks. I'm kind of scared of this Packers team, and until the Ravens defense tightens up a little bit, I'm gonna take Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, defense, right? Jordan Love was pretty good, and they played a complete ball.
Realistically, if we're going based off of that criteria for the Packers over the Ravens, then we realistically should also put them above the Bills, because the Bills and the Ravens were in the exact same boat.
What?
That's not good. What are you talking about?
What?
They both put up 40 points. Both their defenses objectively played bad at that by that criteria. So therefore,
Wait. Actually, I will talk about the Bills defense when we get to them.
I'm just saying.
Bro's mad. It's okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the number one team in our power rankings for week 1 is the Buffalo Bills.
Logical.
I'm talking about the logic. Bro had the Jets at 12.
Yeah, because they put 30 points. Whatever.
It's not all about points.
Your offense looked amazing, but that's fine.
Anyway, I want to talk about the Bills defense because they did play very poorly, especially in the first half, and still run stopping was kind of an issue. For one, it is very hard to play defense against Lamar and Derrick Henry, but also they made very good adjustments. They're particular, I want to note, Ed Oliver, he played incredible. The Ravens have one of the big plays that they always kind of get on us is this run formation where they block Ed Oliver by pushing him so the guard. Okay, I'm trying to put that way. Ed Oliver rushes up against the guard usually on plays especially in the defense coverage, they'll typically run kind of against that kind of a style of play. So what the Ravens do is they take the tackle and kind of bring him over, and they drop the guard to kind of go with Derrick Henry the opposite way. They run away from Ed Oliver and cut through the defensive line gap that the Bills have on that defensive formation. They leave a very wide gap on that defense, and that's why Derrick Henry constantly goes for a ton of yardage. It's the same play against very similar defensive concepts. That's why last year it happened on Derrick Henry's 80-yard run. Happened a couple times in this game this year. The defense made a lot of adjustments. Ed Oliver in particular, the one that he forced the fumble, he instead of he kind of took note of what the Ravens were doing on the scheme, and instead kind of forced himself even further inside instead of trying to push out, and that's what caused him to kind of get through the line and get to Derrick Henry. He stopped him for a negative 5-yard gain, and then a 5-yard loss. He also caused the forced fumble on a different play. It kind of was why the Ravens couldn't get anything going after they put up the last Derrick Henry touchdown, and they had the 40. So the run defense adjusted. Our front seven is honestly very solid. The secondary is a concern, but we also don't have Maxwell Harrison, and that's a big loss that we have to kind of deal with. Maxwell Harrison, I'm hoping, is the guy. I think he will be. He's a very good corner, and I think that will help our secondary going forward because we put a lot of work into the defense. And the difference between the Bills and the Ravens is that the Ravens choked the game, and the Bills kept making adjustments and made a massive comeback. That is a big difference. I don't know. Just because they both put 40 points on the board doesn't mean they're you put the Bills 1-2.
Yeah, but you guys have swayed me with your incredible logic of hitting the Packers over the Ravens.
Because the Ravens are 0-1 and choked the game and also had an underwhelming defensive performance compared to the expectation of the Bills defense. The Ravens defense is supposed to be top 10, and their secondary is supposed to be fixed.
Okay.
Not only that, Josh Allen threw for 400 yards and had 250 yards throwing in the second half. Lamar had 280 yards in the entire game.
Ravens. I don't care about Lamar. The Packers are the best team in the league, straight up.
Bro's rage rating because he's mad that we put the Packers out of the Ravens because
I'm not mad. I'm just saying that I'm mad that the Packers aren't number 1. Now I'm mad.
Right.
The Packers are the best team in the league.
Okay.
Super Bowl bound, baby. Green Bay to the Super Bowl.
You know what's funny is that the Packers had the tie with the Ravens. There's no tie with the Bills, so why would we change it? We collectively voted on this, so it's not.
My opinion's been swayed. That's all it is. My opinion's been swayed.
Put the Packers 1 next week.
Oh, I definitely will. In fact, I'm gonna put them 1, and I'm gonna put every other team 32.
Okay. So there you have it, folks. That is our power rankings. Carson, you got the whole order. I do not have the whole order.
Yeah. All right. So those are the power rankings. Going through all of them at 32, Ultra Batty, we have the Miami Dolphins at 31 and the the first baddie slot, we have the New Orleans Saints. At 30 in the second baddie slot, we have the New York Giants. 29, we have Tennessee Titans. 28, the Carolina Panthers. 27, the Cleveland Browns. 26, the New England Patriots. 25, the Seattle Seahawks. 24, Indiana Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. 23, the Chicago Bears. 22, the Dallas Cowboys. 21, the Houston Texans. 20, the Las Vegas Raiders. 19, the New York Jets. 18, the Jacksonville Jaguars. 17, the San Francisco 49ers. 16, the Arizona Cardinals. 15, the Detroit Lions. 14, the Cincinnati Bengals. 13, the Pittsburgh Steelers. 12, the Atlanta Falcons. 11, the Denver Broncos. 10, the Los Angeles Rams. 9, the Kansas City Chiefs. 8, the Minnesota Vikings. 7, the Los Angeles Chargers. 6, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 5, the Washington Commanders. 4, the Philadelphia Eagles. 3, the Baltimore Ravens. 2, the Green Bay Packers. And 1, the Buffalo Bills and Mitchell David Trubisky. The actual full king, the GOAT, the man himself.
We all know it to be true.
It's true.
I did think that was really funny. The 49ers are one spot below the Cardinals. Like just how the math played out there. That's absolute cinema.
It is absolute cinema.
We do need to get into our games of the week though.
This is true. But before we do that, we gotta shout out our Pick'ems League from week 1. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously, we invited you all to join our Pick'ems League, and you are still invited. It will be open for the entirety of the season. So if you already have some picks going on the ESPN app and you want to add them to our group, or you want to get started from a little bit behind, we're all here for it. We'd love to have you. It's Footballers Anonymous Pick'ems on the ESPN Fantasy app. You should totally join us. Looking in this week, we have RT Remco's Picks 1. I don't know who this is, but you are in first place. You went 13-3 this week. Absolutely incredible. The only games you got wrong were the Miami Dolphins losing to the Colts, the New England Patriots losing to the Raiders, and the Atlanta Falcons losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But otherwise, you had an incredible game. Very close behind. All tied for second place. We have Cam Bam at 12-4. Signed FBA Table, that is Charlie, at 12-4. Buffalo Bill Picks 1. And no, that's it. And Buffalo Bill Picks 1. That is none of the three of us, ladies and gentlemen. All of you are flexing your ball knowledge. Particularly sitting at the bottom, we have at 8-8 the Bears-aholic, and at 9-7 the Cards-aholic, bringing up the rear. But we are going to get into a few of our picks for this week.
Whoa. Hang on. I'm sitting at 5th place at 11-5. I'm not doing too shabby.
You're literally in the middle.
It's not bad.
It's not, no.
11-5.
I would say it's definition of mid, but yes. Yeah, no, very good job. Shout out the Bills Hall. If you guys want to be shouted out on the pod, make sure to join the Fantasy League and try to compete. Currently, as far as our full podcast brackos, we are at 9-7 as a collective. Ian and I really brought it down with us last week. But as far as games of the week go, I believe all of us went 1-2, actually, because we all picked the Bears. You guys picked the Chargers, I picked the Chiefs, and I picked Packers. You guys picked the Lions. So we all went 1-2 as far as games.
The Bears?
I believe so.
I thought you picked the Vikings.
No, I picked the Bears. Huh. I fully expected JJ McCarthy to not win his first start.
Okay.
I picked the Bears. So we all went 1-2 as far as our standard games of the week, but we have 3, technically 4, because Alex really wanted this 4th one that we'll talk about in a minute, I guess. But first,
we have 3 games. We normally have 3 games with 3 people. We got 4 games for 4 people.
Oh,
Ain't that fit?
Starting off, we have Thursday night football, ladies and gentlemen. Commanders coming to Lambeau Field against the Packers. This is a good Thursday night football game. I can't believe we're actually getting good Thursday night football.
That blows my mind. Yeah, this is like one of the best Thursday night football games we've ever had. At least it should be on paper. It's gonna be electric in Lambeau. I would be very surprised if this game wasn't close. And if it's not close, it's because the Packers are insane. With that being said, that means I'm taking the Packers because I know the Commanders are good. Offense was a little slow to start the game versus the Giants. They can't start the game slow versus the Packers. That is my only thing with that. They start this game slow versus the Packers might run away with it because Parsons and that defense will take advantage of them starting slow, and their offense will score points, barring a Jordan Love meltdown, which hasn't happened yet. So we're gonna kind of.
It very well could happen at any moment. Do not
very
be
well could.
If
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, but I'm gonna go with it not happening into the Packers.
I agree. I like the Packers defense. I think Terry McLaurin needs to be a lot more involved in the game. I know he wasn't that much of training camp, but they're going to need him here. They're going to need to really establish that air attack. And also, I am concerned about Jaden Daniels' health a little bit. So I'm going to take that.
Based off of how the both week 1 games went, I'm also going to be taking the Packers.
Me too.
All right. Our second game of the week, Super Bowl rematch. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be sitting in the 4 o'clock slot on Sunday. Obviously, where else would you put a Super Bowl rematch? At 4:25 Eastern Standard, the Eagles are taking on the Chiefs.
I'm so tired of Fox taking the Super Bowl rematch matches. That's only happened 2 times in a row. But like, why does Fox get these games? Like, Fox is not all that, but whatever. With that being said, that's not important. I'm gonna take the Eagles. I'm kind of iffy about that pick because I don't know how I feel about taking the Chiefs to go 0-2. But I also think that the Eagles will like really want to beat the Chiefs second half.
Eagles easy.
I'm also going Eagles. I think there's just too big of a gap at wide receiver with Rashee Rice out for the Chiefs.
I'm going to take the Chiefs for one reason and one reason alone, because the last 2 times I picked the Chiefs, they lost. So I will continue to do so. I picked the Chiefs for the Week 1 game and the Super Bowl, and they lost both of those games. So we are on a 2-game streak. I will take the Chiefs. Also, because it is an Arrowhead, and I'm a little concerned. Jalen Carter, I believe, is not playing, correct? I believe he was suspended for a game.
I think he is, yeah.
I don't remember seeing that.
All I know is that they hit him with a fine.
Yes, they hit him with. Regardless,
it was 57,222.
That's crazy.
For
that
spitting.
you remember. That's wow. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs for the plot. And last, at least as far as the games that matter, we have Sunday Night Football, Falcons at Vikings. This is a very exciting game. I'm pretty high on both these teams, but JJ McCarthy, pretty good. Oh, I'm gonna take Vikings.
I'm a lot higher on the Falcons than I am the Vikings. I'm very high on the Falcons, so I'm going to be taking them in this game. I think offensively they're the better team.
Me too. They just have the GOAT Kyle Pitts.
All right.
Oh.
Slow to this guy.
Oh.
You know,
So much credibility. Just built up so much credibility in one episode and threw it away with one comment.
Oh.
No, I had him on my fantasy team. He blew it. But I love Bijan. I love that offense, honestly.
London, Darnold.
I was gonna take the Falcons, but I'm considering switching my pick out of hearing that treacherous comment.
You kind of want
Keep
to.
it for now, but I want to be clear. It's not. I don't have more faith in the Falcons than the Vikings. I just think if JJ McCarthy still needs, like, I know he played well in the second half of the game.
Alex, I just want you to remember the last time you almost switched to my side, I was right. I almost had you with that Packers game. You wanted to pick the Packers.
All right, I'll switch. I'm going Vikings. You're right. I'm going Vikings.
Trust.
You have a point. I knew deep down that the Packers were gonna win.
Trust the vision. Well, I guess that's all for the NFL games of the week, so we can move on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got a little bit of a take that I've been running into the ground since January, and this I am not letting go because the Carolina Panthers will beat the Arizona Cardinals on this Sunday at 4:25 p.m. because it is written in the cards. The Panthers own the Arizona Cardinals. 2015 NFC Championship, all Panthers. Cam Newton, I'm back game. 2021 kills the Cardinals. 2024, when Carson's in the stadium, eliminates the Cardinals from playoff contention.
Don't forget when we beat them in 2022.
The 2022 game isn't relevant, and there is a reason for that. You see the streak that has been going on. When the Panthers faced the Arizona Cardinals last year, the game before that, they got blown out by the Dallas Cowboys and then went on to beat the Arizona Cardinals. When they beat the Cardinals in 2021, they got blown out the previous game. I had to double check. Sorry. I forgot what team it was. I was kind of spitballing earlier. Give me 1 second. 2021 game, the previous game before they wrecked the Arizona Cardinals with Cam Newton's return game, they got blown out by the New England Patriots. This year, they come into this game doubt in the minds of many Panthers fans and many other NFL fans around the league because Bryce Young looked bad and they were dysfunctional against the Jaguars, but there was a blowout. This blowout signifies that it's going to be a win for the Carolina Panthers. Now, you may be thinking they didn't get blown out in the playoffs because in the playoffs, it is in reverse order because if they got blown out the previous game going into the playoffs, the game wouldn't happen. They wouldn't get to play the Cardinals, so it has to go in reverse order. So in that game, they beat the Cardinals and then got cooked by the Broncos the week later. It had to happen in reverse, and the make up for the fact of the blowout, they blew out the Cardinals and said they flipped the order of the blowout as well because the blowout always has to come first, but the loss has to come. The loss, the blowout has to come first, but they had to serve that loss after.
The Cardinals are just the better team, and it's at home. I'm taking Cardinals.
But this is you don't understand. This is written in the cards. Bryce Young is going to put on flames and fireworks shows against your Cardinals defense because it's been written in the cards.
If you even knew anything about this,
just because they lost,
it wasn't even Bryce Young who put the flames on us. It was Chuba Hubbard who owned us last year. You wanna talk about what's in the history books? Yes, I'm not gonna lie. Cam Newton absolutely owns us. He deserves that. Bryce Young, he had an okay game. It was Chuba Hubbard who absolutely owned us last year. Bryce Young is not gonna do anything like that. We literally beefed up our entire defensive line just for Chuba Hubbard. No other reason. Just so that we would win against the Panthers Panthers week 2, and it is going to finally happen. I say finally, like we didn't do it. Yeah, you can kill yourself. Nick, I won't tell you to kill yourself because you're cool.
It's written in the cards. History says so. And
wait, you keep saying it's written in the cards, like that's not what the team is called.
Yeah, you got the script.
Yeah, I know. It's written all over the cards.
So this
Panthers win.
So terribly.
With this being said, if Football is Anonymous, if you want to see me spitball some random stuff every week and call it the Conspiracy of the Week segment, let me know, because this is kind of fun. I've had this kind of going for a while with the Panthers-Cardinals game, and I can come up with some wild stuff because I find I love finding the little nuances that don't actually mean anything, but I pretend like they mean anything, and it's been making Carson mad with this one. I will do this every week if y'all want me to, and do a Conspiracy of the Week segment. I think it could rival Carson's College Knowledge segment as well. That's another bonus.
Hey, speaking of Carson's College Knowledge, we actually have to shout out Ian because this week it was Ian's College Knowledge. Ian went 3-0 in our college games of the week last week. I went 1-2. Alex went 2-1. Very respectable. But we got 3 games coming up for you. I think they're pretty good. We got a lot, but I think I picked a couple. First we have Kansas at Arizona. This is just a goofy little matchup. I'm not feeling super good about Kansas though. This is a Friday night game at Arizona. I'm a little hesitant about Arizona too, so I think I'm gonna go with Kansas.
That's where you're wrong. You see, this previous week in the NFL, the Baylor Bears had to win in order for the Chicago Bears to lose. That means the Arizona college team is going to win because the Cardinals are losing. It's got to have that flip-flop order.
You know what?
Then wouldn't the Louisville Cardinals be the ones losing?
I'm gonna throw away what I think will be a 3-0 week just to support Alex's claim, and I will go Arizona as well.
Then wouldn't it be a Louisville win this? You know what? Okay. All right, cool. Up next, we got number 12 Clemson, who has fallen off a little bit. Coming up to Georgia Tech, the rising star.
Yeah, we didn't ask Nick. We didn't ask Nick.
I'm so sorry, Nick. What is your take?
I'm going Arizona. I like the way they run their offense over there.
Plot twist. What if I just cut all of those things about you saying good things about Arizona and put them at the Cardinals game? No. I wouldn't do that for credibility and all. I would do that. I would much rather just laugh at all of you when you're wrong. Up next we have the ACC matchup that I'm actually quite looking forward to. We got Haynes King and Georgia Tech, the rising stars in the ACC, taking on the top dogs Cade Klubnik and Clemson, who have been a little disappointed this season. I am gonna go for the upset here. I'm gonna take Georgia Tech.
Clemson.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take Clemson.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Wow. All right, guys. Up next, we have possibly the most anticipated game of the week for a lot of people, which is kind of weird. We have South Florida, who has gotten themselves ranked and have been slowly taking down the powerhouse Florida teams, coming out and taking the powerhouse Florida team in Miami, ranked number 5. And I'm not gonna lie, it's hard because I don't want to let my Miami hate cloud my judgment. But South Florida, man, they're coming after people. This could be a crazy upset.
I think that they are done with the upsets. It ends this week. Miami's taking it.
Miami.
What do you think, Carson?
Don't do it, Carson. Don't do it.
I'm taking
for the plot.
South Florida for the plot.
I am taking Miami.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carson versus the world. I do not believe in half of these picks, but the storyline is too good.
The storyline is Carson has to fail in his own segment.
These are the parlays bro be cooking up.
Bro, 6 of these. Wait.
6, 7?
No, I was gonna say 6, 7, but no, it's 5 of the 7 games. 5 of the 7 games are Carson against the world.
This is true. 5 of the 7
And it was
games.
it was gonna be. Hang on, no, I'm going back to the Falcons because it was gonna be 6 out of 7. Then you swayed me. I'm going back to picking the Falcons.
There's no way.
Carson, I feel like you have to pick the Commanders now.
I am not picking. I don't believe they're gonna win.
It would be 7 out of 7. No, yeah, it would be 7 out of 7. You can't do that.
6, 7.
Yep. All right. Anyways, those are your games of the week, and with that, our week 1 episode is done. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you are subscribed on YouTube, that you are following us on TikTok, that you are following us on Instagram, that you are following us on Facebook, where we only post Minion memes. Definitely make sure to leave a comment to be featured in one of our episodes. episodes. Alex needs some great material. If you think our takes, aka their takes, because they suck, are bad, are good, whatever you think they are, go ahead and comment them down below. We want to hear from you guys. Also, if you haven't joined the Fantasy League yet, you can find us on the ESPN app. Just search for Footballers Anonymous Pick'ems and feel free to join and possibly get shouted out on the podcast. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you join us later when the second half of our season predictions will eventually drop at some point. We don't really know when, but just, look out for those. They're in the works. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, first time of the season, Footballer Nation. Nick, you're supposed to salute.
All right, let's get it.
Let's ride.